Welcome back, it's Monday, and Monday means Marneus Calgar again. Look, let's just take a moment to appreciate that Marneus Calgar is one of the most updated models. Here are the current lineup of Marneus Calgars. Calgar through the ages, if you will. And now Calgar is going to look like this, because he's been updated again. Which, okay, on the one hand, it looks pretty cool, and I do like it, and it's a return to Terminator armour, which is great, because, much though I like Gravis, Terminator is just flat out better in my eye. But I do like the fact that, for reasons, we've gone back to not the last model, but the model before that. They are now making versions of Calgar that are the previous versions of Calgar. Before, it was an evolution. We had Going to the Toilet Calgar, then we had Power Armor Calgar, then we had Terminator Calgar, then we had Gravis Calgar, and now we have evolved once more to the thing that he had before the current model. What? I don't really understand why they've opted for this, but okay, let's have a look at the article. Maybe it's going to share a bit of insight as to why this has been done. Marneus Calgar and new Ultramarines prepare to defend Ultramar. I suspect that these are not going to be the only Ultramarines we see. My gut feeling is that there's going to be a few of them showing up in one form or another. Just a feeling I get, I could be totally wrong. I'm probably not totally wrong. And the thing is, whilst the man himself is back in the armour that he had before, he's not alone. Oh, by the way, that rear view there, I do like it. It's good. I like the fact that you can see the ammo drums on the back there, and the fact that the cloak goes sort of under them instead of over them. They didn't need to do that, but they did, and I like it. It just shows off a bit of extra detail. It's fun. The gauntlets are hilarious. I love them. I've never had an issue with those. I think they look great. They're very, very silly, obviously. And also, just a minor thing, how is he holding that sword? That's got to be purely for decoration. That is just for drip purposes. Look at the hilt on it. How is he holding that? Like, 2 fingers would go round the entirety of that, and he would not be able to wield it unless it was in like this weird, like, 2-finger and thumb grip, which would look hilarious, by the way. I mean, if someone wants to model that, then please do. But, just from a scale perspective, that sword's way too small for those gauntlets. Unless, of course, he takes one of the gauntlets off to wield the sword. Like a kind of power move. I could punch you to death and shoot you to death at the same time, but I'm not going to. I'm going to take one of the gloves off and stab you instead. I mean, I wouldn't mind it, although it is stupid, so other people probably would. Also, it's been a little while since we've had some proper 3D printing artifact going on with one of Games Workshop's preview models. Have you seen, on this particular picture, when you look at the right-hand gauntlet, at the ammo feed going into the bolter there, that is some extreme lineage going on there. That is some pretty good, hatching, which, generally speaking, doesn't tend to show up as often anymore. I feel like a lot of their preview models, the ones that they paint up to advertise before the actual production has started, I feel like those have been a lot smoother for quite a while. But that is significant. But only on that one bit, which makes me wonder, how did they orient that bit so that it ended up like that when it's not as obvious on other sections? Just curious, it makes no difference to anything. But I've just noticed they only have 2 poses for Calgar for some reason. Yeah, we've got the initial pose where he's on the throne. That's totally fine. But then, when he's in power armour, we've got the fist raised and then 1 fist down. When he's in Terminator armour, we've got the fists out to either side. In the Gravis armour, we've got a fist raised and a fist down. And then in the new one, we've got the fists out to either side. Why are they stuck between 2 poses? There's got to be more you could do, right? Then again, do you want to do more? I don't know that the Gravis one is actually better. I think maybe the Terminator one is just flat out a better pose. In which case, going back to it, that's totally fine. It's kind of funny that now I've seen that, all I can think is they could only do 2 poses for him anymore. That's it. He's locked in. He's locked in hard. Now, there's also this lad. There's also Cato Sicarius. He's been revealed as well, and he looks fine. Looks very, what's the word? Not necessarily regal. The pose is so over the top The pose feels like a parody of how people see Ultramarines, but I do like the armour. The armour looks good. In fact, the armour looks really nice. I like the bit of filigree, like the extra bit of edge that's going on, like the gilting and stuff. That's nice. The helmet is... I mean, it's silly, but it's fine. Overall, quite a classic feel to this miniature. Quite a classic feel. I mean, we've got a back banner. We've got a very like posy pose. It's decent. It's all right. You do get his head in two flavours, stoic and angry. So depending on what you want, you can have him be really annoyed about something, or you can just have him looking a bit, statuesque. Now, here's where things get extra interesting, right? So we've got the Victrix Honour Guard, but we've got two different versions of this. So you've got this lot, where you've got the bolters, you've got power axes, but you've also got the stuff to make these. So you've got a proper mix of what you can load them out with. But interestingly, I'm just not seeing any shields, which is a really interesting choice, right? Previously, they had the shields, they had the power swords. I actually thought the shields made them look very distinctive. Now, obviously, the big eagle across the face, that is also extremely distinctive. Like, that is very distinctive in and of itself. The cloaks as well makes a huge difference. Overall, there is a fair bit of decoration, but it's not like overly complex. It's not too busy. There's a bit extra, but it's not like in your face. The power axes I really like. The power axes are a fun change, and I'm a little bit sad that the shields seem to have gone away no matter what loadout you're doing, because I think that a power axe plus those shields from the older ones would have been the perfect combination. It's also interesting that they've made this change, especially to the Victrix Honour Guard, because the first introduction to these for a lot of people will have been Space Marine 2, right? And this is a departure from that, so it takes a little bit of the kind of like recognisability away, which, I don't know, I'm just finding that decision interesting, full stop. And I'd love to know why they've chosen to do this now. And also, why they decided to change Calgar back, I guess. Because, I mean, this was not a bad model. It looks decent. It's absolutely fine. He looks like Calgar. He's got the gauntlets. He's an absolute monster. That's sort of what we expect, right? Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that version compared to the previous ones. This one goes back to what he was before. I would love to have a bit of insight as to why he's got another version of himself that's not even like a new version. It's a return to a previous version. But yeah, anyway, so we've got the Victrix Honour Guard. We've got different loadouts, so you can either have them looking like this, so you've got your power axes, you've got the amazing helmets. I never used to like the helmets, but they've really grown on me. And you've got the bolters as well. Or you can go for like sort of company champion there, so you got the dual power sword loadout, which does look very cool. The helmet is iffy for me personally, but overall, just as like a full model, that stance is great. The way their power swords are held is fantastic. I like the little changes in the armour, that's really nice. That banner is absurdly huge. That is absolutely ludicrous. Like, what the hell is that? That's like the length of a rhino. from like top to tail. That is insane how big they've made that banner. I mean, it's like very fancy, it's very fun, but oh my god, you just don't want to be the person in charge of that. Absolutely not. What an absolute catastrophe having to lug that around a battlefield. Jesus Christ. All the designs being printed on are going to make it a lot easier to paint, which is nice, but oh boy. Now, as I said before, I did not think that these would be the only Ultramarine things to show up, and they say right here, as for what this means for the Space Marines of the Ultramarines chapter, we'll have more news later in the year. Stay tuned to Warhammer Community for all the latest news. The chances of this lad and his guard being the only things to show up seem incredibly slim, but I am really curious to see what they do in terms of other Ultramarine characters, if that's what they're going to do. All in all, I think losing the shields is a little bit of a downgrade, but I love the power axes, the helmets look fantastic. Overall, just like the vibe of these guys is immaculate. They look brilliant, I really like them. I would just like the shield options. I just feel like there's something there that just adds a little bit of extra uniqueness to them. You watch it be the case that if you turn these round when they actually release them. You'll be able to see that you could have a shield, a little smaller version on their power pack or something, just for last-ditch defense or something like that. Thus rendering all of my complaints completely worthless, as though they had any worth to begin with. The return to Terminator armour, it is kind of a welcome one, because Terminator armour is the best armour. I maintain this opinion that I've held for years and years and years, and I will not be changing it anytime soon. But Marneus Calgar arguably didn't really need to return to Terminator armour, but at the same time, he is cooler in it, so, difficult, tricky that one. Anyway, there you go. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think of that lot in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things, and I will see you for the next one.